Be it resolved. The root cause of all our problems is a reflection of the condition of the human heart. A paradigm shift about personal responsibility and personal leadership is urgently required. Leaders Are Not Chameleons is a national campaign designed to educate and liberate the human mind. This campaign is brought to you by the Voice of One Overcomers Club, the National Center for Learning and Psychosocial Support, every Friday at 10:45 a.m. Be inspired, be liberated.
Right. Good morning, listeners. Sometimes I cannot find words to put experiences or lessons together, although oftentimes I write through it anyway. But I ask myself, why am I doing what I am doing? What's the point of all this? But then I have had the privilege of making mistakes and being carried away by all kinds of nonsense. However, in my delirium, I know now that there was a reflection of God in my life, situated deep within my spirit, and that is the motivation that kept me moving forward. It is evident that I made errors, but I have come to the realization that that is all they were, mistakes, honest untruths. Through my journey, I have learned that learning from one's mistakes is a process or journey towards discovering truth. I have experienced the deception of others along the way. And now, as I sit before this machine, not as an empty cup or a cork, but as a cup that still have room for more enlightenment, I am brought to the realization that deception is dishonest untruth. And the spirit of deception exists, even in places you might least expect. Can you tell the difference between honest untruths and dishonest untruths? The latter come from persons who present known untruth as fact for reasons that are selfish and self-centered, and moreover, with the specific aim of destruction. These persons are liars, agents of the father of all lies. Their main focus is to deceive others while not deceiving themselves, or at least so they think. They speak of truth, realities as though they do not exist, as though they are fairy tales for the weak and downtrodden, while strategically marketing their philosophies, their lies, their instruments of destruction with such confidence. Have you ever encountered a person with the attitude that their word is the ultimate word? They rarely show remorse for their mistakes. They are secretly or even openly happy when others fail or are hurt. They are persons possessed by the spirit of Jezebel. Their ultimate goal is to harm people, either directly or indirectly using others. Does it fit the description of someone you know? Maybe some of our leaders. They magnify little mistakes or oversights and use it to create much emotional hurt for their target, all with the intention to pull down the person. I tell you, in these days, the spirit of Jezebel believes they are on top, as they persuade the weak and vulnerable among us, stimulating doubt, confusion, hoping for a greater pandemonium. But listen to this. Now the works of the flesh are evident, which are adultery, fornication, uncleanliness, lewdness, idolatry, sorcery, hatred, contention, jealousies, outbursts of wrath, selfish ambitions, dissensions, heresies, envy, murders, drunkenness, rivalries, and the like. And unless these days are shortened, no flesh would be saved. But for the elect's sake, these days will be shortened. Thank God for his plan of redemption. For in these days lawlessness abound, and the love of many have grown cold. I believe these are some of the reasons why I do what I do, the promises of a living God and loving God. Some wise old persons used to say liars, evil people, those possessed by the spirit of Jezebel, their outcome, they will be exposed. Their schemes, words, and actions of deceptions is like spitting against the wind. The spit is bound to fly back in their face. God says, evil shall slay the wicked, and those who hate the righteous shall be condemned. Now I have some knowledge combined with experience, and I am able to state with confidence that my source of error or source of error, our source of error is due to the fact that we have free will, a gift from God. But free will activated without sufficient knowledge have its consequences. I believe we are all searching for truth, happiness, comfort, and security. In this search, numerous opinions have been advanced, numerous methods for the acquisition of our desires. But how often we realize that most are incorrect. I have learned and truly appreciate that every discovery, every victory I have had followed numerous errors. This realization brought a deeper appreciation for perhaps one of the truest and perhaps the most common expression of seekers of truth. We learn from our mistakes. Had it not been for those errors, truth could not have entered into my mind, my heart, and as I allowed this light to shine, it kept exposing the darkness. And gradually, as I learned, errors were removed, and I began my journey as an overcomer, overcoming my errors. And my life, spirit, soul, and body appreciates this truth, though badly wounded at times. However, it constantly fights its way through the various forms of darkness and have settled in the marvelous light, the glorious light. Now, there are many opinions out there, I know. Some say there are many rivers, but they all lead to the same sea. Many forms of worship, but it is to the same God. Within the plethora of opinions and experiences, I have learned there can only be one truth, one God, and one mediator between God and man, and there can be no confusion, no plethora of methodologies. It is stated clearly, for God is not the author of confusion. Which brings me to this point, this hotly debated topic of sexuality. Our world is filled with living things. To my knowledge, our world is not an enthusiastic jelly, but a world of kinds: dogs, cats, birds, fishes, and humans. The sexual being of mankind is not a shifting spectrum or a distorted, confused figure being looked at in a mirror, designed for distorting, perhaps for fun. No, human sexuality is but a sharp, clear, and clean division, male and female, he created them. It is a wise and all-knowing God, full of compassion and mercy, that further bestows free will on creation that has made it so. And it should be so, for there can be no diversity without distinction, separation, being oneself rather than melting into confusion and chaos. We know as adults that children get involved in foolish and dangerous things because of a lack of knowledge and the understanding of the consequences of their actions, their choices. They lack wisdom, common sense, and experience. This brings me to another key point: parenting and obedience. Obedience and parenting. Our parents were once children. These children are now parents. However, when I speak of parenting, it goes beyond biological parents. It includes parenting from our community leaders, religious leaders, the media, and that is the various forms or types of mass communication, including television, radio, newspaper, and movies. Let's not forget our teachers, artists, and politicians. These are all agents of socialization. Young people's character are shaped by what we feed them via the mediums just highlighted. When we as adults do foolish and dangerous things, it demonstrates our lack of wisdom, common sense, love, and the reality that we did not learn from experience, or we just do not care. And then the reality is, we can only transfer the values that we have been taught, the values we have learned to appreciate. Over the years, working with people, young people, I have learned that wisdom and common sense cannot be transferred to young people simply by just being good role models. I have learned from experience that the wisdom a young person learns for any facet in life, be it religion, spirituality, or politics, it must be consciously taught. So what are we teaching our children? As teachers, we which we all are, we need to evaluate our methods of mentoring as it impacts the future. We help shape the identities, values, and career choices of individuals. What type of seeds are we planting? It is evident that we live in a culture obsessed with status. Status seeking fosters a culture of aggression. Status seeking individuals constantly seek greater status, always at the expense of others. They seek only to get themselves ahead. Parents, you are your child's first and most important teacher, and perhaps you are giving it your best shot, transferring the best values and principles life has taught you. But who else is teaching your child? Perhaps for most children it would be the teacher in school or church and the media with its mass communication network. From my personal observation, backed up by a plethora of research, children spend hours each day watching television, videotapes, playing videos and computer games, and surfing the internet. In fact, I have been to schools and other places where people are employed to do a job and found them playing some game on their phone or on the company's computer. I remember one child stating, "All the security guard does is play games on his phone all day." Yes, I have witnessed that. In observing children's behavior, and let me be specific, children of the working class people, people who are employees or run small to medium-sized business. However, this does not exclude the upper class, because I have seen their behavior in their malls, and it is really not different from children of the working class. However, I have worked with the children of the working class and have seen the impact television has on shaping their mindsets. Now, television has its good side. It can be entertaining and educational, open up new worlds for our children. However, it is the opening up of the new worlds which could be the problem. Children view their favorite characters smoking, drinking, and involved in sexual situations and other risky behavior as they watch TV. Literally, thousands of studies since the 1950s have asked whether there is a link between exposure to media violence and violent behavior. The answer is yes. The evidence from the research is overwhelming. The research shows or indicates that media violence can contribute to aggressive behavior and the desensitization to violence. Watching violent shows is also linked with having less empathy towards others. Just reflect on our society for a moment. To further confirm my observation, I spent quality time looking at their favorite shows, and it was confirmed that they are taught and learn how to disrespect parents, adults, how to get their own way. They are exposed to much violence. Even cartoons are filled with violence. They are even taught how to get away with murder. Second to the television is the arcade, where perhaps 60% of all the video games are violent. Those who don't go to the arcade have those games either on their phone or laptops. I have heard some ministers of health stated that we have an obesity problem among our children, but nothing has been done to prevent the TV commercials that encourage our children to eat high-calorie junk foods. Other TV ads foster in some of our girls restrictive anorexia as they constantly promote thin female models, presenting to our future women an image which affects their health and self-esteem. They try to convince our children that they need to buy certain foods, toys, and clothes to be cool and happy, to be a part of the crowd. But many of the things they advertise, our children do not need them. Destructive, addictive substances like alcohol and other drugs are promoted via TV commercials and movies by attractive, healthy-looking, and successful characters drinking and smoking. Our kids are being taught via these ads and movies that drinking, smoking, and taking drugs is cool. The harmful impact on health, education, relationship, and work is not highlighted. Have you looked at the music videos, especially of the Kingsley-haired people? The behavior of a woman is truly nothing short of being very provocative. I just cannot seem to get the right words to describe their behavior. their manner of dress, except to say all their cracks and crevices are exposed. It is like looking at pornography. The lyrics in the songs, the movies, talk about sex and having sex as if it is nutrition for the healthy upkeep of our bodies. They rarely talk about long-term committed relationships and preventing sexually transmitted diseases. Through the television ads and movies, our children learn to accept the stereotypes. Characters of color are usually sidekicks, drug users, comic relief, thieves, or bad boys. Children of the Kingsley Here Nation account for the majority of crime and bullying in our nation's schools and in our communities. This said group is more than likely always portrayed as perpetrators of crime and violence. The finding is overwhelming. The impact of the plan is evident. The minds and hearts of our nation's youth have been severely attacked, but more so, the minds and heart of the parents have been scarred, in my opinion, by choice, and choice that is justified by folly. But then, how can you transfer what you do not possess? For true change to take place, there must be the desire to renew mind and spirit. There must be the will to refrain from folly and train up the child in the way that he should go. And when he is older, he will not depart from it. And for your homework, look at Deuteronomy 6, verses 4 to 9. Until the next time, turn to God and live.
Contact us at 679-6747 or email von_oc@yahoo.com or write to us, P.O. Box number 2295, Shagona.